this is going to be an all English session. And then as I have emailed everyone, the purpose of this is to understand what are the methods and processes in order to have the research collaboration with IITH. So today we have Professor Abhinav. He's the Dean of Corporate Relations, which is the uh,
office
department that is in charge of relationship establishment with the companies. So today we would have Professor Abhinav explaining about IITH research collaboration. And also we have Professor Kataoka here as well with us. And he has a lot of research collaboration experiences with the Japanese companies. So also he would give us some insights also as a comment later on. So I would request if everyone can mute their mic so there's no distraction. And yes, I would like to give the floor to Abhinav Sensei.
Sure. Thank you, Manasan, and thank you to the whole JETRO team for organizing this. And I welcome all the participants from the industry side from Japan. I try to have a brief presentation initially of around 20 minutes, and then we can have some question and answers and some follow-up discussion. And please feel free to add at any point of time if you have any thoughts or any comments. So maybe I'll try to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see the screen. Are you able to see my screen now? The whole screen?
Yes.
I'm projecting the slides now. I hope they're visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So maybe a brief overview about our campus. So I come from Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. We have already completed 16 years. We are currently ranked third in India for innovation, 8th in engineering, 15th for research, and 12th overall across all domains. Please do let me know if the slides are changing, just a cross check.
Yes, so we see your team member.
Corporate relations, yes. Yeah. So this is our corporate relations team. I am currently the faculty in charge for corporate relations. I originally belong to Department of Electrical Engineering, and I'm an affiliated faculty member in the Department of Artificial Intelligence. Please note, I report to Professor Mahendra Kumar Madhavan, who is the current Dean for Alumni and Corporate Relations. Some of you have already attended the previous session taken by FIC OCS, Professor Mayur. So both of us work with the ACR team. His team takes care of, the OCS team takes care of placement and internship. That is the primary event for Japan Day towards the end of this month that we are planning. And additionally, our team in corporate relations, that includes myself and includes 3 more members, Mr. Dwarka Prasad Sahu, Mr. Ashwini Kale, and Mr. Chitranjan, who are our office team members. So together we try to be the single point of contact for corporates, both from Japan and globally anywhere. I have added the contact information also in the slide deck in the beginning and at the end, so feel free to use it to reach out to us. Coming to the institute itself, I wanted to give a brief overview about our institute, just to give you a highlight. So currently we have around 325 plus faculty members, 5,000 plus students, out of which more than 60% are graduate students. So we are a research-driven institute. We have around 19 departments, 4 incubation centers, a significant amount of funding in research. We have around 28 centers of excellences, and I wanted to highlight some of them which might be relevant for our discussion for today as we go forward. And as I mentioned, our focus is on research. So we have several number of projects, patents, publications coming out of our institute. In terms of collaboration, we have already collaborated with several industry. Around 130 international collaborations are there. There are significant number of projects, both from the industrial domain within India as well as from outside. I'll try to highlight some collaborations, some success stories that we have between us, IIT Hyderabad and Japan, towards the end of my presentation. Coming to the key research thrust areas, So these are our institute-wide identified research thrust areas. This includes 5G and next generation communication technologies. We have one of its kind hardware test bed where you can test both front end as well as back end of a 5G network. We have additive manufacturing as a thrust area, so we have all sort of 3D printers available, including metal 3D printers. You can print a part something as small as a few millimeters to something as big as a few meters also. We have a department of artificial intelligence, so it's a big thrust area for us. Bio-inspired processes and systems, catalysis, climate change, energy, healthcare. Again, these are some of the key areas, but because I'm not a faculty working in them, maybe I'll not be trying to explain them. Integrated computational engineering is another unique area which we have. This is different from computer science. The motivation here has been to champion the computational requirement, for example, let's say for core industry, including manufacturing sector. We even have started a BTech program in this domain. Another key thrust area for us is nanotechnology, then sensors and devices, transportation, smart mobility, rural development, autonomous navigation, waste management, and material characterization. Again, based on these thrust areas, we have several centers of excellences on our campus. I will not try to highlight all of them because there are 33 of them, but maybe I'll try to highlight selectively some of them which might be of relevance to folks who have joined today from the Japan side. For example, we have a center for healthcare entrepreneurship. We have a center funded by NVIDIA on AI technology. We have a center on fabless chip design, a center on design innovation, a center on autonomous navigation, a center on transportation research and innovation hub. Another one funded by Suzuki Motor Corporation Japan called as Suzuki Innovation Center. But then maybe, but then maybe I will leave that part to Professor Kotaro as he has been the key champion from our side for this center. We also have centers on industrial energy assessment, on computational engineering, on geospatial AI and technology, digital twin technology, on quantum communications, in situ and correlative microscopy. This includes the Nikon Center for Excellence and a Center for Cybersecurity and Applied Cryptography. This is just a snippet of the 33 centers we have on our campus. Each of these centers drives research by interacting with the industry. There are faculty associated with these centers working in these core areas. And also there are several students and project staff working parallelly jointly on several funded projects, both from the government as well as from the industry in the respective domain of these centers. So I just wanted to highlight that structure in the beginning of my talk. And then coming to the key part for which we are here, which is essentially how can industry collaborate with IITH? So there are different level of collaborations. The primary level of collaboration is internships and placements, which anyway you are going to be part of. That is what the Japan Day activity is primarily about. So I will not be discussing the first part, which is the internship and placements. I believe you have attended or you would be attending in person a session towards the end of this month. Second level of collaboration is research or academic collaboration. And this is the one that I want to focus on as part of today's presentation. How can we promote, faculty collaboration and student projects with industry members across the board, across various areas? So this would be the focus. The next level of collaboration could be you setting up an office space in our technology research park or setting up a center or a school of excellence. But then I think that follows up as we go forward in our joint partnership. So for now, for today, we focus on research and academic collaboration. And I'll try to highlight different modes of this collaboration between industry and IITH. Now, again, please note, in general, when we look at collaboration with the industry at IIT Hyderabad, we can look at collaboration from an academic perspective, from research perspective, from innovation, from recruitment, as well as from social responsibility perspective also. For today, we'll focus on primarily 4 things, but if time permits, maybe on CSR projects also. From a research perspective side, we'll focus on the joint supervision part, sponsored research, consultancy projects. And again, in recruitment, we'll focus a bit on the semester-long internship. I understand you have exposure to this part from your prior session that you attended with JETRO and IIT Hyderabad team from OCS. But still, I wanted to highlight some aspects from a research collaboration perspective, how this can be used in there. Plus, we can also collaborate for CSR projects, but I think that depends on whether you have an India presence or not. So maybe we'll come to that part towards the end, if time permits. So coming to the key types of collaboration, the four key primary types of collaboration you can have with IIT Hyderabad in terms of research collaboration is A, you can start with a semester-long internship, or B, you can go for joint thesis supervision. Third option is you can have sponsored research project or fund a sponsored research project, and fifth option is a consultancy project. And I'll try to highlight the nuance or the difference between all of them. So when you are opting for a semester-long internship, please note the topic is typically defined by the company because the student, and it's typically for BTech students, and because the student is going to come and work with you on site, the IP will be owned by the company. Typically, the student is getting paid as a stipend from the company side, and the contract also, both the NDA as well as a formal contract for this particular process is signed between the student and the company. IIT Hyderabad is not part of the contract when it comes to semester-long internship. It is between the student from IIT Hyderabad and the company. On the other hand, if you go for the second option, which is joint thesis supervision, the advantage is you can hire or you can work with graduate students, both masters and PhD students. So they can work on more involved problems. They can also work for a longer duration. It is not limited to 6 months. For that matter, for a master student, if you have joint thesis supervision, you can work with the master student from a 2-year program for up to 1 year. And similarly, for a 3-year MTech student, you can work with them for typically the whole duration of 2 to 3 years. So the duration over which you collaborate with the student and the faculty is longer. That is one key difference between semester-long internship and joint thesis supervision. Another difference is in joint thesis supervision, as the name indicates, the topic has to be jointly decided by IIT Hyderabad and the company. Unlike semester-long internship where the company is saying, okay, this is the problem statement, I want to hire 4 number of BTech students from these branches to come and work with me in my on-site at my company in Japan. In joint thesis supervision, even though it can still be on-site or off-site based on the discussion between the faculty from IIT Hyderabad and the company from the Japan side, still, we recommend that you at least have some sort of an IP contract, because here the student is not working completely with the company only. They might be working on this thesis from IIT Hyderabad also. Secondly, because the faculty is involved, the topic has to be agreed upon between the IIT Hyderabad faculty, who is the thesis supervisor, and the representative from the company side. Please note again, for this, typically the student can get paid. The contract for the payment part can be between the student and the company. But if there is any work being done at IIT Hyderabad by the student, we strongly recommend that you sign an IP contract a priori to avoid issues later on. So these are first two models where typically more collaboration is happening between the students and the company. On the other hand, we can also have collaboration between the company and IIT Hyderabad through sponsored research project. Yes, please.
Professor Pallavi, may I?
Later on. These are so coming back to the two key modes of collaboration between IIT Hyderabad and prospectively from between your company. One is the sponsored research project, and the other one is a consultancy research project. In both of them, in sponsored research project as well as the consultancy research project, the topic is defined by the company. However, in sponsored research project, the IP is jointly owned by IITH and company. So we need to have an IP contract, again, case by case basis. It can vary, but typically we need to have an IP contract in place even before the project starts, which explicitly mentions how IP will be managed, any IP generated out of this project, how it will be managed. The project is typically conducted at IIT Hyderabad. So the expectation is there are certain resources in terms of human resource, in terms of computational, or in terms of experimental resources available at IIT Hyderabad, and the company wants to collaborate with IIT Hyderabad. So majority of the time, the faculty as well as the students or staff working on a sponsored research project will be working out of IIT Hyderabad. Again, in this case, the faculty don't get paid from the sponsored research project, but the staff or students working on the project can get paid. Please note, for a sponsored research project, the contract is essentially between IIT Hyderabad and the funding agency or the company. Unlike sponsored research project, there are certain key differences in consultancy research project. One is the IP contract here is essential. It need not always be jointly owned. On a case-by-case basis, IIT Hyderabad and the company can decide how the IP will be managed, but the contract has to be signed before the beginning of the project. Second thing is, or key differentiating factor is, the consultancy project need not always be completely at IITH. It can also be on-site. So for example, you have a problem statement and you want a student from IIT Hyderabad to work along with the faculty on a project of your choice, then maybe the student can come over and work on-site for 3 months. And the faculty can join remotely online certain meetings, or faculty can also come for short duration, let's say 1 or 2 weeks. So it can be a mixture of at IITH and or on-site. Again, please note, this is through faculty. So semester-long internship, joint thesis supervision, most of the interaction is going to happen between the student and the company, whereas sponsored research project and the consultancy research project are typically driven by the faculty from IIT Hyderabad. In the case of consultancy research project, even faculty get paid along with staff and students. Again, the contract is between IITH and the company. The topic for the consultancy research project is again defined by the company. So the company can tell, okay, this is a problem statement that I want somebody to work on, and then our office can help you identify who can potentially solve that. Right? These are the 4 key modes of collaboration when it comes to working or doing joint research or working on a research problem statement of a company's choice. Next, I'll try to highlight a typical workflow on how our office enables these kind of projects. So let's say any company, they approach our CR office. You also will have our email address soon. I'm going to share the slides, or I'll request Manasan to share the slides. So once any company approaches corporate relations office, our office tries to identify who are the relevant stakeholders in IIT Hyderabad. Which department, which faculty work in this domain, and we try to connect them, we try to bring them on board, and then our office tries to set up the initial meeting. So this initial meeting, we request the company representative to participate, and we request the stakeholders identified from our office side to join those meetings to understand the initial requirements. Once those requirements are clear, we typically request for an NDA. So a non-disclosure agreement, again, a template of that Manasan would probably have shared with all of you already. So we request the company to sign an NDA. This is to protect non-disclosure of information from both sides. So it is to protect the company's proprietary information. It is also to protect IIT Hyderabad's proprietary information. So once an NDA is signed, then our office tries to set up a detailed meeting. Now, because the NDA has been signed, you can share more details from your side about the problem statement and the requirements. Similarly, the faculty from IIT Hyderabad side can also share in detail what their group is working on, what kind of technology is available, how it can help the company achieve a certain objective. Once this detailed meeting has happened, we typically try to identify a faculty point of contact, a faculty POC, and he or she takes forward the project. After this part, the role of corporate relations team is minimal. Then predominantly the faculty POC is the one who facilitates the remaining part of the project. So the faculty POC will facilitate the contract between IIT Hyderabad and the company. They will do certain set of iterations from both sides. Once the contract has been signed and it has been initiated, we would request the company to transfer appropriate amount of fund to IIT Hyderabad, and then regular meetings or review or update meetings are expected to happen, where both from IIT Hyderabad side, they are expected to share, the faculty is expected to share the updates or the progress, and similarly from the company side, regular feedback and technical guidance is expected so that the project can be successfully completed. Finally, every year at the end, we typically have these annual report submission from the IIT faculty point of contact, which includes both monetary as well as technical reports. And then finally, based on the duration of the project, we have project closure and documentation. So this is a typical workflow of how a research project, both sponsored research project as well as consultancy research project workflow happens. And just to identify or to highlight some key success stories from our side, these are some personal stories from my side. I didn't want to highlight the overall institute-wide details because we have several NDAs in place, but at least I can highlight the names. So I'm going to share certain names of organizations from Japan that I have personally collaborated with. The interesting thing is these collaborations have occurred at different levels. For example, in case of Takenaka, one of my students went for an internship to Takenaka, and then Takenaka was very happy with the kind of work done. And then they said, okay, let's convert it into a small consultancy project. And then can you help us achieve a very well-defined objective in a short duration of time? So we were able to deliver that, and complete the project. Eventually, the student who did internship with Takenaka is now working full-time with them. So our own master student from my group, he is now working full-time with Takenaka Corporation in Japan. So that is one example of a success story. Alternatively, one of my PhD students joined NTT as a full-time employee. They had an internship program, then the student joined there full-time. After joining full-time there, the student identified a problem statement that we can work on. NTT then came forward and funded a research project in my lab, and we used it to achieve some objective over a period of 1 year. Similarly, in the context of Nihon Electric, we had a different type of collaboration. So we have this funding scheme by JST JICA called SATREPS. Maybe Manasan or Kotaro Sensei can share more details about that. So we collaborated with Nihon Electric and worked on this big project, a SATREP project on multimodal transportation systems. So that was another type of collaboration where we approached a funding agency and then we got some funds from them and did some joint research and development work. Another example is Suzuki Motor Corporation, where some of our students joined SMC, I think 7 or 8 years ago. And then since then, multiple projects have been funded, not only for myself, but for several faculty in IIT Hyderabad. And now we even have a Suzuki Innovation Center on our campus operating out of our TRP, right? And then very recently, I have started engaging with Murata, where they directly approached us through JETRO, and we are trying to, set up a project, a sponsored project with them. So these are just some examples, some flavors of success stories. And in interest of time, I'll just end here. These are again our contact details. Please do reach out to us if you need any assistance or clarification. I'll probably escape this and go back to the meeting window. Yes, Manasa, over to you.
Thank you very much for your explanations. So let's ask the participant if they have any questions to you.
Sure, please.
If you have any questions, please turn on your camera and your mic, and then you may speak. In the meanwhile, can I ask you a question?
Please.
So in the flowchart that you showed, you said this is applicable for sponsored research and consultancies, which the contract will be between IITH and the company, and the professors will be in the point of contact. And then you said the semester-long internship and joint thesis supervision would be more student-oriented. So in case of this semester-long internship and joint thesis supervision, what would be like a general flow chart?
So I think for semester-long internship, the flowchart has already been shared by the OCS team in the previous event, but I can also highlight it if you want. I think I have it handy. So just give me a minute and I will quickly project it.
So the semester-long internship and also the joint thesis supervision will have separate, different flowchart.
Yes,
Okay.
that is true. So for semester-long internship, I think from August till November is the time when the internship hiring is happening. So I would recommend, if anybody is interested to do semester-long internship based collaboration, now is a good time to start up till November, because the internship is expected to start from January 2026. So the process of hiring must be completed by December. That includes visa and other formalities. So I think August to November would be a good timeline to complete the semester-long internship. This is not true for the other one. For joint thesis and supervision, this can be initiated any time of the year. But if it is initiated, let's say between, so for example, if you're targeting joint thesis supervision for next year or next semester, maybe again now would be a good time to initiate. If you want to start this collaboration from Jan 2026. If you're looking at a joint thesis supervision from July 2026, then maybe you have 1 year of time to figure out. Yes. Does that answer your query, Manasan?
Yes, thank you so much.
I can also add, so what I will do is similar to the research collaboration through sponsored as well as consultancy project, I will add a similar flowchart for semester-long internship and joint thesis supervision, so that there is more clarity based on the slides.
All right,
Sure.
that's great. And also, so you have explained the 4 methods, the 4 modes. And I think the participant for today is now considering which mode they might want to take. And for their reference, you gave 5 companies, 5 Japanese companies that you already have the collaboration. And
Yes.
some of them you said it's a consultancy project like Takenaka and NTT, who is a consulting project. So out of the whole research collaboration, what is like the rough percentage of sponsored research and consultancies?
Sure. So there, maybe I will re-highlight that part. Please note, for Takenaka, it was a consultancy project, but for NTT, it was a sponsored research project. So
Okay.
one of the differentiating factor is whatever we developed for Takenaka, Takenaka owns the IP because that was part of our contract. But this is not true in the case of NTT. In the case of NTT, because it was a sponsored research project, um, any IP generated out of that project, we are going to jointly own. So that is one differentiating factor. In terms of the other companies, like Nihon Electric, it was a sponsored research project. Suzuki Motor Corporation, I have done both a sponsored research project and a consultancy project based on their requirement. So I think it's a split. It's an even split, 50-50, I would say.
Okay.
One of the primary driving factor in making a decision on whether it should be a sponsored project or a consultancy project is the IP part. Does the company want to own the IP, or they want to co-develop and jointly own the IP with IIT Hyderabad? Two, uh, what is the expectation from the IIT Hyderabad ecosystem side? So if the expectation is everything will be done by IITH and there will be minimal contribution from the company side, maybe sponsored project would be better. But if there's going to be input from the company side also, a consultancy project is better. So it varies case by case basis, but yes, I hope that helps.
Mhm.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much. So do we have any questions from the participants? I know that was very informative, so it would take some time to actually like take it in and understand deeply. So maybe it might be difficult to have questions right now. So if I receive any questions later on, I'll connect it to you, Naka Sensei. And
Sure.
I see Kataoka Sensei's camera on, so
Yeah, so for example, I think Dr. Abhinav is comfortable if some people ask a question in Japanese.
Oh, yes, please feel free.
日本語でもいいですよ。僕が直接お答えできることは今すぐお答えしますし、そうでなければ、翻訳したアビナブ先生にお伝えすることもできますので、今すぐというものがあれば、ぜひお知らせください。
While waiting, one more question I have. So in the flow chart, you showed that company approaches CR offices, CR office identifies relevant stakeholders in IITH, initial meetings to understand requirements, and then NDA. So for this time's core research day, I understand that it's going to be the initial meetings to understand the requirements. So I've shared the NDA drafts with the companies, and if the company side requests to sign an NDA beforehand, then then they can also sign beforehand. But then from the IITH side, NDA is not required at this moment. But then this core research day will be like the initial meeting where the companies can understand what kind of professors they are, and the professors will also explain about their research projects till the limit that they can talk without the NDA. And then after that, if there's like a good match, then they would sign an NDA, and then more further discussion will go on. Is my understanding correct with that?
Yes, so that is a
Okay.
correct understanding, Manasan. However, if there is a company, because you have already shared a couple of slides with us in terms of the research interest of some of these companies. So if some of them want to do an online meeting even before coming for Japan Day, our office can facilitate. So the initial meeting can happen online also. That will better help us understand exactly what is the kind of problem statement their team is trying to solve or work on. So it's up to the company how comfortable they are. If they want to perform, or if they want to conduct an online meeting before, we are more than happy to host them online. If they would like to come over in person for Japan Day and then meet us, we are more than happy to do that also. Whichever works well for them. Yes.
So in the case of having the online meeting beforehand, then they can move on to have the detailed meeting with the relevant faculties on the day.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's the expectation. Yes.
Okay, I understand. So I would inform that information to the 5 participants, and I would ask them for their requests.
Sure.
So from Professor Kataoka, do you have any more comments to add on to Abhinavi Sensei's presentation?
I think he very well explained and outlined our research ecosystem. Thank you so much. And I don't have much things to add. So my actually your suggestion to the Japanese companies is please feel free to talk to us. And because, for example, talking to us does not mean you have to collaborate with us. So, I just talk in Japanese. So,我々にぜひなんか話しかけていただくことは別になんかすぐコラボしなきゃいけないとか何か約束しなきゃいけないっていうものではありませんので。もう本当にこうなんていうんですかね、まずどういったことができるかっていうのが知りたいとかですね、またどういうトピックがいてどういう先生がいらっしゃるのか知りたいとか、なんかこう我々と話すことでなんかこう会社として何かコミットしなきゃいけないということはありませんので。そこはこうむしろこういろんなお話を我々にしていただけるとありがたいなと思っておりますし、そこでこう何かこう後でこう何か請求されるんじゃないかとかそういうことはありませんので、そこはちょっとこうあんまり構えずにリラックスして当日お越しいただいていろいろお話しいただければなと思います。以上です。
Do you have any questions? If not, I think we can wrap up for now. And then if you have further questions, please email me, and then I can forward that to Professor Abhinavi or to Professor Kataoka. So if we don't have the last question for now, yes, I think we do not have. So thank you very, oh, we do have one. Mr. Shudo, can you turn on your mic and then give your question?
Hello, this is Daisuke Shudo from Game-Based Learning. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to present us about in a brief presentation of the program. I'm just quite interested. Any kind of use cases have you ever had a very kind of successful project? No matter what, with Japanese corporate or US or European companies, if your faculty members have any specific experiences before.
So maybe Professor Kotaro, I can answer for myself, and then you can add more to the response. So thank you, Daisuke-san, for the question. As I mentioned in my slides, I personally, as a faculty, have 5 projects so far with 5 different Japanese corporations, all of which are complete. So, for example, I have completed, I think, 3 projects with Suzuki Motor Corporation, Japan. And they were happy with the first one, that's why they gave the second one, and they were happy with the output of the second one, so they gave the third one. So that is one success story, if I would like to call it that. Similarly, we did one project with Takenaka Corporation from Japan again, where, as I mentioned previously, they hired a MTech student from our group, and then they were happy with the work done by him, but they wanted more technical detail from our side. So they gave a small consultancy project to us, a short duration project to us, and we were able to successfully complete it well in time, and they were happy with the outcome. So they even went ahead and hired the student full time. So there is a small but another success story, I would like to call it, a different type of collaboration. The third type of collaboration is where, let's say, for example, with Nihon Electric, we partnered with them and we applied for this multimodal smart transportation project to JST and JICA called SATREPS. And we were able to successfully complete and deploy those smart transportation systems in Ahmedabad as well as in our campus. So already in Ahmedabad, a lot of those vehicle messaging systems have been deployed as part of that SATREPS project. It was quite a successful project. So it is more an academic research collaboration where Nihon Electric was not expecting any outcomes, but they came together with us to reduce the carbon footprint, to work on smart multimodal transportation systems. So third type of success story. So we have several more. I think Professor Kotaro can add better. He has more visibility on the overall collaboration. I request him also if he has some comments, please.
Sure. So, for example, I had collaboration with Denso Corporation, and then they wanted a blockchain solution for some socially useful use cases that I could not disclose easily. But the point is, we take their requirement and use cases as an information, and then we customize our solution that we already have, and then give a source code to them, together with some documentation, how to set up, how to configure, how to operate, or what can be the technical issues that we can foresee if it is directly deployed in the market. So now, normally, the way how we develop the system may not align with the software development standard for the large scale and the commercial deployment. So that is why I would like to suggest that what kind of like a software development scheme we are following. And then I think normally for the professional and the commercial services, my point is normally we focus on the proof of concept implementation. We may omit some commercially important aspect, And then, but let's say like we claim that, hey, something is working. But for the Japanese companies, uh, it will be a little bit like a low profile or like a bare bone kind of like a software. It may not be directly applicable or deployable for the service. So that is why, in terms of the, for example, software development, like the deliverable out of this collaboration, is it still the proof of concept implementation, which may not be ready for commercial deployment? Or because do you set the initial goal that whatever we code or develop should not be the POC, it should be the commercial grade, enterprise grade solution. So that kind of like aligning the initial expectation is very important. So that is why, for example, when we produced our source code to Denso, we have a very clear disclaimer. This is a POC, but at least we can prove that your concept can work using our research outcome. And then we provided source code and the documentation, how they can reproduce exactly the same thing with what we exactly developed in our lab. So in that case, we don't have any expectation gap. So that is why, for example, Denso can use our source code and the documentation as a base idea for the technical specification for their commercial grade solution. That can be, again, development can be outsourced to some other IT company. So my suggestion is, I think we got a very good information, question, how we may align the expectation. Is this POC or something else? So that can be of your interest. So that's something I can add here.
Thank you, professors. It sounds like you're more having successful stories in manufacturing sectors. And since we belongs to the edtech sectors, then we already developed a kind of prototype utilizing subsidy from, media and JETI, JETRO and the MIDI program, so that we would like to sophisticate the program if we can set up a kind of co-project with you, with your team, especially in ATI utilization. So that since my feeling is, Indian research is more strong at mathematics or some other technical, areas of background. So we are quite expecting for that, and also very curious about interest in the budget. Some grants or some, support from the government or universities. That's more interest we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. So maybe adding to what Daisuke-san mentioned, in terms of AI, we currently have a department of AI. Plus, we also have a department of design where we have a dedicated lab on AR, VR, because you mentioned EdTech through gaming. So we already have a setup, which is also through an industry partner called InfoVision, where we have set up an AR, VR lab in the design department. So we can take care of the design aspect, the UI UX aspect also. We can also help you with the algorithm part in terms of the LLMs or the deep learning algorithms you want running in the core of your edtech, engine, as well as in terms of optimization, both from the computer science as well as from the math side. So I think we cover the full spectrum as far as the technology space goes in terms of potential collaboration. But of course, as you mentioned about collaborating and applying for joint funding. So there, I think SATRAP is a very good example where we collaborated with Nagoya Electric, Nihon University, and there was a joint project between them and IIT Hyderabad. So again, that kind of project we can target a SATRAP or a similar project would very much be of interest to IIT Hyderabad also. Yes. Going back to Professor Kotaro's comment, I wanted to add something. One of the most prominent types of projects that have seen success between industry from Japan and IIT Hyderabad are projects which are research projects in nature. For example, in NTT's case, entity wanted to collaborate with my team in some 6G technology. Again, because of NDA, I cannot disclose that part. But for that 6G technology, my PhD student visited NTT for 3 months, worked on their hardware testbed, came back. We did some sort of optimization, did a lot of research, and then now we are filing joint IP with NTT Japan, in Japan and also potentially globally. So that is a model where it's research driven and not development driven, as Professor Kotaro was mentioning. That is where it will be more chances of success through this collaboration. Yes.
By the way, the collaboration with Denso was actually for research. So Denso is known for manufacturing, but the technology we have developed is a blockchain, and which was very actually that kind of blockchain did not exist in the past, and then so that is why the company profile does not necessarily match the research topic that the IIT Hyderabad companies are engaged. So, we are kind of pretty much flexible. And then also, we are not attempting to forcibly convert any like a small task to the complicated research. So if any topic can be done without going for the research, and then we will advise you accordingly. Because our intention is like brutally conducting the research. It's not brutally conducting the research. So if we think, or if we have a confidence that this topic should not be the research, but should not be more like a trial, or like some development like a project, and then we should say so. But if we find a research component, which the standard like a development procedure cannot figure out or cannot solve the problem, and then definitely we will say it is a research. So I think we can have that kind of like conversation when we actually discuss the project. So the initial hint information from the company side is very important for us, because which way the collaboration should go. Is this just software development, or is this our research, which can also have a very good success, but also the chances of failure, because the research does not promise a success always. So, but that kind of like a discussion, I think once the stages go ahead, and then we should have the point that, how we may segregate the type of this collaboration. So that's something that I want to add here.
Thank you, professors.
Thank you, Shido-san. Is there any more questions?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Myself, Deepak. I'm from Green Carbon. I'm stationed in Tokyo as well as at HQ. And we are a sustainability company, not related to energy or electronics, related to any kind of engineering one. But we are the leading nature-based carbon credit developer in Japan as well as Southeast Asia. And we are also planning to have some of the plants in India as well soon. And we want to do some of the research related to biofuels, related to biofuels or nature-based carbon credits. Is there any like a particular department in IITH where we can collaborate, and then whom we are going to contact, so on?
Sure. So maybe I will try to answer this. Thank you, Deepak, for joining the call. We have a Department of Climate Change, and we also have a school completely funded by industry called Greenco School of Sustainability on our campus. I think those two would be the right department and schools for you to connect with. So maybe after this call, I'll request Hanasan for your contact details, and I can connect you with the head of the department and the head of the center, the Greenco School. and they can help you figure out the respective faculty members. So the way it works is each department has a head of the department, and then they have multiple faculty members working in different areas. So I would like to believe we have several faculty members working broadly in the space of sustainability. That's why a school on sustainability on our campus, right? So we should be able to find somebody working in your area of interest, and they can definitely help you, and collaborate with you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak-san. Do we have other questions? And gentle reminders for the companies who still haven't submitted the proposals. Can you please send it as soon as possible so I can forward it to Professor Abhinavi and his team, so we can start off sending those informations to the adequate professors so we can start up the matching. So it seems like we have no more questions for now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or email to your Madoguchi Tantosha, JETRO Madoguchi Tantosha. And so let me wrap up for today. So thank you very much, Professor Abhinavi from the team of Corporate Relations, and also Professor Kataoka, who's in charge of Suzuki Innovation Center, and he also facilitates a lot of Japan-India collaborations in IITH, for joining us today. And of course, thank you very much for all the participants for Japan Core Research Day to join, to make time and come together and have this meeting today. So, so next step would be for the companies who I've already received the research proposals. I've already sent it to Professor Abhinavi today, so we would take it forward. If you have not still sent, please send it as soon as possible so we can start off the matching. And then, and also I would send an email of a wrap up of today, mentioning if you would like to have an online meeting before the Core Research Day to have a deeper discussion on the day, or if you would like to have the initial discussion on the 29th. So please send me your request, which of the two methods you would like to take, and we would take it forward based on your request. So thank you very much for coming today, and I hope you all have a nice day today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.